Alright guys, today we have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover. We are starting with Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is a game that I know a lot of us are very excited about, and we know it's releasing sometime this year. As of right now, we're just waiting to get another trailer, another update from Konami or Sony, giving us the specific release date. It's looking more likely it's going to release maybe sometime this fall. But something that people recently discovered is that apparently Konami and Bloober Team may have actually quietly changed the look of James Sunderland based on some new images, or at least one new image that was discovered on the Steam backend page from SteamDB. And what people have noticed is that it seems like they made him look a little bit younger and more similar to how he looked in the original game. This was kind of a complaint that some people had when Silent Hill 2 Remake was first announced. It's that he looked older, but also that his face just looked way different in some ways than the original. And I don't think it was a huge deal, but now we see this image, and when we see comparison images, it really, I think, looks much more similar to the original look of James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2. And from what I can tell, most people seem to view this as a good thing. I mean, if you look at the image in the middle here, it's not that it looks bad, but it just, it takes away the kind of subtle darkness, I guess you could say, or emptiness that you can see in James's face in the original. And I think that looking at the updated image here, it seems like it kind of brings that back somewhat. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think about the updated version of James Sunderland for Silent Hill 2 Remake. Do you think it looks better, or do you actually like the way that they made him look originally before redesigning it? Let me know down below. We're moving on to the next topic. We might have some good news here for those of us who like to collect physical PS5 copies of games. It seems as though a retailer put up a listing for some Resident Evil games, specifically Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Resident Evil 7. All three of these games have native PS5 versions. Back in March of 2022, Capcom announced this and said, yeah, we're going to be bringing some next-gen versions of these games, but we also found out back then that there were going to be no physical copies for these games, which I think disappointed a lot of people. But this retailer put up a listing that put all three of these games up physically, and the listing has since been taken down, and we haven't really had any updates. But this is something that people on the internet have kind of been paying attention to, because there honestly seem to be a pretty decent amount of people who would absolutely buy these games physically and even double dip on these games, right, for the PS5 versions or the current gen versions. And it was always kind of strange to me that Konami decided not to do this. But some time has went by. You have to imagine maybe the sales of these games have slowed down, at least since the time that these native PS5 versions were released. Maybe they were waiting purposely so now they can make an announcement and say, hey, we are releasing RE2 and 3 and 7 physically for PS5 to kind of, maybe get a little sales boost there and make those of us who, again, care about physical PlayStation 5 games happy. So right now, it's not officially confirmed, but this retailer is legitimate, and so we'll just have to kind of sit back and wait and see if this announcement is going to be happening soon, and I'll be sure to update you guys. Moving on to the next topic, we have some what I think is very good news for Stellar Blade, and I think a lot of people honestly are going to be very happy to hear this news. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. Developer Shift Up has confirmed that PS5 exclusive Stellar Blade will not be censored in any region, including Japan. Japan was specifically mentioned because the country's rating board, Zero, is known for being strict. Last year, they banned Dead Space Remake because of its gore. Concerns about Stellar Blade's potential censorship don't only stem from its violence and gore, however. The game has earned some criticism for sexualized characters despite its protagonist being based on a real-life model. Some fans expressed concerns that Stellar Blade may be censored in the West. ShiftUp has confirmed that that will not be the case. Meanwhile, Sony is going all out when it comes to the marketing of Stellar Blade. The company teamed up with Korean singer BB to release an official song for the game. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Sony really is kind of on a major tear here with the with the marketing regarding Stellar Blade, and I can't blame them. It seems like this game is poised to do some big numbers for both ShiftUp and Sony. So the idea that, Sony is kind of pumping a lot of time, money, and effort into marketing this game, it makes sense. But yeah, this is great news. The fact that Stellar Blade is not going to be censored. If this game was going to be censored in any region, especially in the West, it would have caused, I think, major outcry, because most of you, I think, are aware of the ridiculous controversy surrounding this game and the way Eve looks. I'm glad that this article explicitly pointed out that the character of Eve is actually based on a real-life model, a real person. I think the controversy surrounding this game is completely nonsensical, and if anything, I think those who have tried to push back against Stellar Blade are failing to a point where they're actually bringing more attention to it, and it's actually causing more people to support this game, because again, based off of everything I'm seeing, it's looking very much like Stellar Blade is going to be a huge sales success. I don't want to say exactly how many copies I'm expecting it to sell, but it just seems like it's going to do very well, and the fact that it's not going to be censored in any region, again, great news. Doesn't get any better than that. But we are going to move on to the next topic here, which talks a little bit about Helldivers 2. I have a write-up here from WCCF Tech. It says here that Helldivers 2 is an extremely popular game, far more than probably either Arrowhead or Sony had hoped for. That said, it's not perfect, and the developers are aware of that. In a series of very frank posts on Reddit, Helldivers 2 game director and Arrowhead founder Johan Palstead wrote, "We are optimizing our processes and hiring devs to boost the team, but 100 is still a decent size for a development team, and we are aware of the issues in the releases. We will do better in the future. We want to deliver the best in the industry, and we are calibrating our efforts of fixing versus new stuff. It's easy to just say, just fix, don't add, but the reality of the competitiveness in this industry is that we have to do both in order to stay relevant. We're figuring it out. The demands and expectations on the studio are high. All eyes are on us, and we have a sole purpose: to make this the best live game you've ever played. We just need to find our stride and balance. It's a hot topic at the studio, and I'm sorry for the sloppy mistakes we've made as of recent." Now, to me, what's interesting about this is how candid the CEO is being. It's kind of refreshing to hear somebody in this position just talk so candidly. But the thing that really kind of caught my attention here is that they are really aiming to make what they consider to be the best live game that a person's ever played. Now, those are some seriously high ambitions. I think it reveals how much has maybe changed and shifted internally at Arrowhead, where they basically went from just hoping that this game could find a moderate amount of success and just be a good game that gets consistent updates and content and has a small but consistent player base, to now their ambition is to create the best live game ever made. And to be honest, for as ambitious as that sounds, it is a possibility. I mean, the excitement and the interest in Helldivers 2 seemingly hasn't slowed down. Maybe it has a little bit, but considering we're nearly 3 months out from launch, it's kind of crazy to see that it's still doing as well as it is. And so I think from this point forward, it is going to be imperative for them to really start bringing very meaningful content updates. I think that they've been doing a very good job. They've been putting out a good amount of content, but I think they're really going to have to try to ramp things up a bit in order for them to achieve this goal of being the best live game ever. Hopefully, with the support of Sony, it's something that maybe they can ultimately end up achieving. We will find out, but I wanted to give you guys that little update regarding Helldivers 2. Let me know if you're still playing Helldivers 2 down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.